After understanding the importance of citation and academic integrity, it is now time to apply this knowledge by learning how to craft a well-structured research-based argumentative essay. But first, what is an argumentative essay? It is a piece of writing that convinces the readers to accept the author's point of view on the topic. The essays include a deep understanding of the topic, providing evidence, examples, and reasoning. It discusses arguments in a formal way of writing and logical analysis of the topic. Meanwhile, a research-based argumentative essay, similar to argumentative essay, aims to persuade the reader as well, but it requires an extensive research for both parties. In addition, proper language use should also be considered in this type of academic writing for an effective justification towards the chosen topic. There are six key elements in writing an argumentative essay. The first one is the thesis statement. This is considered to be the heart of your paper. It's basically the debatable claim that you aim to prove, which is why your thesis statement must be delivered clearly and comprehensively. Next, the introduction. This sets the stage for the whole argument. This is where you first state your thesis statement to give the argument's background and significance to your readers. And in earning their trust, each part of the body paragraph should tackle a specific aspect of your argument that contributes for the betterment of your essay structure. To do so, you can show supporting details and address counter arguments. However, such things won't hold up without evidence, whether it's statistics, experts' opinion, or laws. Evidence lend credibility to your claims. And to build a strong foundation, be sure to cite from a reputable source in selecting evidences. Apart from that, it is also important to consider the opposing side. You should address the counter arguments to further strengthen yours. It shows how you've considered all sides and understand them, and still stand by your claim. In addition, your conclusion should do more than just summarize. It should also leave a lasting impression, offering implications or recommendations to reinforce your thesis. Knowing the key elements, you should now be familiar to the three approaches you can use when organizing your argumentative writing. The first one is the classical or Aristotelian approach. It starts with an introduction stating the background information and the thesis statement to establish the relevance of the argument. Subsequently, narration provides additional context to strengthen your claim. Then, in the stage of confirmation, the main argument should be explained with supporting evidence along with logical reasoning. In terms of opposing viewpoints, the challenge, the claim, they are addressed in the stage of refutation. Lastly, for the conclusion, restate the thesis statement and the key points of the analysis to remind the readers of the claims and the significant information you have imparted to them. For the next approach, known as the Rogerian approach, developed by psychologist Carl Rogers, this approach is about understanding, not winning an argument. This approach begins with neutral introduction to the thesis statement. Then, in the second of contextualization, both sides are presented neutrally, leading to a common ground. In the body, counter-arguments and rebuttals are presented to show the points of each side, similar to the classical argument. But, in the conclusion, the thesis statement is restated along with the common ground to instill the main purpose of the Rogerian approach, where understanding prevails over the intent of winning an argument. Lastly, the Toulmin model, developed by philosopher Stephen Toulmin. This model includes the introduction. It provides an overview and background of the topic, which helps a reader understand the idea. Then, the claim, which clearly states the main argument that the paper intends to support. It is essential to present the claim in a provocative and defensible manner to invite the readers to engage. Meanwhile, warrant links the evidence to the claim, which clarifies the relationship among various pieces of information. To further justify the warrant, it is advisable to incorporate a backing. This ensures the warrant's validity and to strengthen the reasoning behind the argument. Then, counterclaims should address counterarguments with thorough understanding and evidence. Right after that, rebuttal should respond effectively to the opposing claim with the evidence to help strengthen the original argument and assure the reader of its validity. Lastly, the conclusion. It should restate the relevance of the claim to leave a lasting impression of the importance of the argument. Now, let us look at the different types of argument claims to use in your essay. The first one is the claim of fact. These are statements that seem factual, but are open to debate due to the lack of clarity or evidence. Then, claim of definition. Here you can define a term or concept. This claim helps the reader better understand the interpretation of the issue. For the third claim, the claim of value, where you explain why your topic matters. But in this claim, it is important to keep in mind that your values may not be your reader's values. Next, the claim of cause and effect. This explores the reason behind a certain problem and its impact. Lastly, the claim of policy, which suggests an action that should be taken. The key word here is should, which means recommending, not demanding. To successfully understand how research-based argumentative essay is done, there are 8-step guides to writing a research-based argumentative essay. The first one is to select a topic and write an issue question. Choose something that is debatable and interesting for you and your audience. Next, conduct thorough research. Gather reliable and multiple sources to support your reasons, claims, and evidence. Then, create a strong thesis statement. This should possess a clarity, focused, and is defensible. For the fourth step is to develop a logical structure. Use an outline to plan a cohesive introduction, body, and conclusion. And provide a strong evidence as a support for each point with credible sources. Cite properly to avoid plagiarism and to build trust. Address counter-argument. Acknowledge opposing views and refute them respectfully in a logical manner. In addition, use persuasive language. Appeal to ethos, pathos, and logos, according to what can satisfy the paper's need to strengthen your message. Lastly, craft a compelling conclusion. Restate your thesis, summarize key points, and leave the reader with a final thought or call to action. Documented essays written by Filipino scholars are not only reflections of culture, but also models of how concept can be developed and explained. Doreen G. Fernandez in Pinoy Baduy and Carla Blanca Labog in For the Filipino Woman That You Are use distinct rhetorical strategies to explore Filipino identities. This essay argues that while both analytical and emotional approaches are effective, analytical techniques such as definition, exemplification, and comparison are more reliable in deepening cultural understanding, though emotional appeal remains powerful in inspiring identity and pride. Fernandez demonstrates how a cultural label like Baduy is more than a superficial insult. By using definition and clarification, she establishes what Baduy means in Filipino discourse. She strengthens this through exemplification giving concrete cases in fashion and entertainment, and through comparison and contrast, showing how Baduy is opposed to social. In contrast, Labog's essay relies heavily on narration, exemplification, and emotional appeal. By addressing the Filipino woman directly as you, she creates intimacy and empowerment. Her use of repetition and testimony highlights women's struggles and resilience. While Labog's method is less analytical, it is effectively inspires pride and affirms women's identity. Both Fernandez and Labog succeeded in explaining concepts, but in different ways. Fernandez's analytical approach ensures clarity and depth, making cultural ideas intellectually accessible. Labog's reflective style, however, appears to emotions, motivating readers to embrace the pride in their identity. Evaluating Pinoy Baduy and For the Filipino Woman That You Are reveals that Filipino scholars employed diverse techniques to develop and explain cultural concepts. Fernandez uses analysis to clarify social meaning, while Labog uses emotional resonance to celebrate identity. This comparison demonstrates that both methods are effective, but analytical strategies ultimately provide a more sustainable function for cultural understanding. Thus, in conceptual writing, a combination of analysis for depth and emotion for impact produces the most powerful results.